What is up, farming family? How y'all doing today? Today, we're reacting to the Power Pro 12mm by Holbrook. This is a thin paddle. It's thermoformed, unibody, has foamed edges. I don't have a code for them, but I'm sure there's one floating around through one of their ambassadors. I'm going to break down how I feel about the pop and the power. I recently did the Annalie Waters paddle, so I'm going to make some slight comparisons to that, so stay tuned. But I hope y'all been doing good. The first thing I want to talk about with this paddle is the pop. In terms of pop, I would say that this is in the top 5 in terms of poppiness. Like if I were to put them in order, I would put the Gearbox, Pro Power Elongated and Integra. Then I would put the Annalie Waters 12mm. Then I would put this paddle. Now, when it comes to the pop, this paddle isn't quite as poppy as the Annalie Waters 12mm paddle is, but it's not very far behind. If you're looking for something that has a lot of pop and has a longer handle because the Annalie Waters paddle handle was too short for you, this could be an alternative. Now, when it comes to the power, I did find that this has more power than the Annalie Waters paddle. So it would go Gearbox Power Elongated, this paddle, then the Annalie Waters paddle. Once again, it's not a drastic difference in power, but you can tell a difference when you're using this 12mm from Holbrook compared to using Annalie Waters' shorter paddle. Now, when it comes to control, much like these other poppy paddles I've mentioned, you're going to struggle a little bit compared to the 16mm, the 15, the 14s, and the 13s. That just makes sense. Thinner paddles are harder to control. The thing is, when you're doing it, dealing with these paddles and you get used to dialing it in, the hand battles and stuff are a lot easier, but the dinking and drops are a lot harder. So the control is definitely one of the things that this paddle struggles with compared to paddles, you probably normally play with. Unless you're going from, the Paddle Tech and Elite paddle or the, new gearboxes. When it came to the spin numbers on this were 19,015. Okay, so anything basically over 1,700 or 1,750 is going to be considered good. Now, you are going to be able to tell a difference when you get up near the 2000s in RPM totals compared to the 1750, 1800, paddles. This is right in the middle of the line when it comes to spin. It's not going to be a problem. I'm sure you guys are used to hearing this now, that spin's not going to be a problem for a majority of the paddles that are coming out on the market right now. The only ones, that I've tested that I didn't like in terms of spin was the Adidas Metal Bone so far, and it was really low. It was like 1,400 and something. But yeah, spin-wise, you're not going to have any regrets. Your ball's going to have plenty of shape. Your top spin's going to be fine. When it comes to the swing weight, it's 113. That seems really, really light, but then you have to realize that this is a 12mm paddle. If this was a 16mm paddle, it would be up in the 120s like all the other 16mm elongated paddles. Now, when I get to the twist weight and the sweet spot part and talk about lead tape, you're going to see where the swing weight is going to be increased some. But right off the box, it's 113. If you can use it without lead, that's going to be incredibly light. And when it came to the actual overall static weight, the static weight of it was 7.9 ounces. It didn't even break 8 ounces in terms of static weight. In terms of twist weight, the twist weight was 5.87. You always expect elongated paddles to have a lower, twist weight. And then when you combine that with a thinner paddle that has less stability along the edges, your twist weight's going to suffer even more. And the same goes, with the swing, with the sweet spot. The sweet spot was somewhat lacking in this. If you're, tennis elbow and your arms can handle it, I would definitely recommend a little lead tape on the side. But if you're a weaker person, this paddle might not be for you because lead tape is definitely needed, or tungsten tape, to make the sweet spot better and help with the twist weight. This is the one part I'm going to have to be critical on. This is a $219.99 paddle. I feel like this is very overpriced. This paddle could be anywhere from $160 to $180, and it would sell a lot better. Like a lot better. At this point, it is very close to the Carbon, Thomas Wilson's signature paddle. So it's hard to recommend one over the other, but I feel like if they got this down to $160 or $180, this paddle would be a lot more recommendable versus the price it has now compared to the other Gen 2 paddles. So I wouldn't recommend this to most people unless you're just looking for a slightly more powerful version of the Paddle Tech Annalie Waters paddle with a longer handle. And if that's what you're needing, then it might be worth the extra money. But for the majority of the people, that's a lot of money to spend on a paddle. But yeah, till next time, stay safe. Have a good day. Drink plenty of water, y'all. Peace.